Hunter?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you see us?
Can you see me?
Nope.
Yeah, I can see you. Can you see?
Oh.
Spanish, but it doesn't sound anything.
Well, hi. How are you guys? Merry Christmas for us, but not Christmas for you guys. It's Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Here, it's really hot. Except, I don't know. I've adjusted to the weather pretty well. Like, all of my other batchmates from the MTC are, like, they're still dying. I remember it was, a few weeks ago we went to a mission tour at Bacolod, and I saw, like, all my batchmates there. But I saw one of my elders, the biggest guy in our batch, Elder Holt, 6'4", huge white dude from Idaho. And I went up to him, like, hey man, how's your sweat doing? Like, are you sweating a lot? And I went and I patted his back, like I put my hand on him, and he literally splashed. And so, and I was like, oh man, and then he's like, oh no, it's doing really good, man. I'm getting really used to the weather. I'm like, it doesn't feel like it. This is like one of the nicest houses in our area.
So
like,
it's a member's
they
house?
have cement, which is not normal. Usually it's, they have like some houses that we teach at have cement floors, but most of our areas are villages and sugarcane fields. So like, they're called haciendas, which is like all the people who work in the surrounding sugarcane fields live in this little tiny village in like the middle of the sugarcane field. It's really weird. And so most of their floors are just dirt, and they live in like these crazy bamboo houses. I don't have any pictures really of Calidad. Calidad is our main area that we go to teach because it's just so successful right now. But yeah, they're all bamboo houses with just tin roofs because they don't need insulation, so they just have like literally wooden walls made out of bamboo pieces, and they like make their own cement, so they get dust and like these like a bunch of gravel, and they siphon out the gravel until it turns to like dust, and then they make their own cement. And so the cement houses are like really weird because they're super crackly, like cement blocks. It's kind of weird, but yeah, this is like this house actually has walls. It's weird.
What do you normally eat in a day?
I don't know. A lot of rice. We have rice just for about every meal. My companion, because what rice does here is it, like, because, like, when you're fat in America, you're fat as in, like, you have fat on you, and, like, and you're pretty unhealthy and whatever, but here, they eat so much rice that they just have, like, a belly. Like, they're, like, really healthy people, and then they just have, like, this belly, because it's, like, their rice belly. And so my companion's like, I'm on a diet. I'm like, a diet? What do you mean? He's like, I'm trying not to eat rice. Because he doesn't want to have a belly. But it's weird, because, like, there's a lot of healthy people who have, like, this weird beer belly. But, I call it rice belly, because it's just, he thinks that you guys all look so serious, because, well, people just naturally smile here. Like, unless you're Sister Lobos, but here it's like, you don't have that. So if I don't, like, especially during lessons, like, there's times that Elder Retorco's like, dude, smile. Like, you look so serious. Because if I do just a cursing face, they think I'm, like, mad at them. So it's like, you kind of sit there, like, looking at them. You don't know what they're saying half the time, but just like, just smiling at them. But yeah, especially the first few weeks were crazy hard with the language. But yeah, so a lot of the time you're just kind of smiling at the members, pretending like you totally know what's going on, and you don't. And it's not uncommon here to have dads like try to give you their daughters, especially if you're white or American, because they're like, take my daughter to America. Like, it's crazy. I had that happen to me. We went to this cafe, so I went to the back and I asked one of the moms, like, hey, where's the bathroom? And she's like, oh, it's just in the back over there. So I'm like, okay, thanks. I go to the back, and this guy who's probably in his late 40s, maybe 50s, Filipinos don't age, he comes and he like turns around and he sees me. He's like, "Oh, hello, sir. How are you?" Like, "Hey, what's your name? Where are you from?" And I'm Elder Steffen. I'm from America, which is weird to say in English. I usually don't say that in English, but and he's like, "Oh yeah, America. Like where at?" I'm like, "Oh, like kind of by California, but not," because no one knows where Utah is. And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I want you to meet my daughter over here. Her name, I don't remember her name. Let's just say Sheila." And so he's like, "I want you to come over here and meet my daughter Sheila." And I'm like, "Okay." And I didn't know where he was going with this really. And his daughter just so happened to be our waitress. Well, not waitress, but the person we ordered from. And he's like, "This is Sheila. She's very pretty. She's very single. She has no boyfriend, and again, she's very single, very pretty." And he just starts going off, and I'm like, "Oh gosh!" So, like, I know where he's going with this now.
Why don't you do that?
And so like he's like you two should date, and like you should marry her and bring her to America. And I'm like, "Oh," and she's like blushing hardcore, and she's like trying to avoid this, and I'm like, "Sorry, I can't really do that, and I gotta go. My companion's waiting for me." And he's like, "No, really, I want you to marry my daughter." I'm like, "I gotta go." And so I go over. I go over to the table. It was me and 3 other elders, and like we were like getting up and going. I'm like, go. And we get out the door, and the guy's like, "Okay, bye, come again soon, please." And I'm like, "No." But there's like so many things like driving here. Not so much here in Negros, but in Manila. The buses that we drove there were nuts because there's no traffic laws here, which sometimes is good, sometimes is really bad. Like it can get chaotic. And so in Manila, when we were driving all the buses, they like the gas pedal. They didn't know how to just press a gas pedal and go. Like press release, and they used a brake too. So we're like rocking back and forth. And it's literally the best way I can describe it is that scene in the 3rd Harry Potter movie when he gets on that bus and like the bus is like shrinking and like swerving, like halting to a stop because someone walks on the road, and there's just like people like talking to me in a different language, and it totally like the 3 little heads or the 2 little heads on the guy's mirror that are. That's what it's like to ride a bus here. Like it's crazy.
Okay, so what's your favorite thing to eat? You said you eat rice, but do you feel like you get variety? Like, do you get fresh food?
Yeah, it's all fresh. Filipinos don't eat leftovers. Like literally, they if they cook dinner, if they don't eat it all right there, then they most families they just toss it, or they usually eat all of it. Like they cook for how much you're gonna eat. And so it's like really important to finish your food too when you get invited to dinner appointments, and which has been really hard sometimes because it's like I'm either like so full or like the food just like like not good or but so sometimes it's like really hard, and they have like some really weird food here that I haven't tried, like a lot of blood stuff. Like they have like they eat liver and they eat like blood stew and stuff, and I'm like I hate liver. I've tried it a bunch here and I still don't like it, and like blood is just like, but they eat it like it's candy.
Yeah.
So Hunter, are you wearing a long sleeve shirt?
Yeah, because it's Sunday. When we go to church, we have to wear long sleeves. Same with baptisms. We have to wear long sleeves on baptisms, which is bad because I only have 1 long sleeve shirt. And so if I baptize, then I need to wash that shirt that night and hope it dries in time, which it doesn't. So I have to put it in front of the fan overnight, so then it dries by the morning. So we need to head over to just some city. It's like what you can do here is like for 300 pesos, which is like $6, you can get a shirt made. And so they just like size you and stuff, and they say, okay, come back in 2 days, and they just make a shirt, like a dress shirt from scratch. Like it's crazy. I miss clean animals, dude. Holy cow, the cat is so clean. Here, there's dogs everywhere. Like there are stray dogs literally everywhere, and some like they're all dirty, and some are kind of like a little less dirty. Like that picture of that little puppy that I was holding that one day.
So cute.
That is like the family keeps that dog clean, and so that's why it was so clean. And you don't pet any dogs, and like you don't like them, you don't think they're cute. They're just ugly, like flea bags. And when I say flea bags, like that's a whole new definition, because here there are literally dogs that I don't know how they're still alive. Like they're like some of their bones are showing, and their skin's all ripped up, and they're bleeding, and they don't have any fur anymore because they're so unhealthy. They're super skinny, and they just have fleas and like these like maggot things in them, and like they're literally like walking parasites. Like they have worms, and they have fleas, and it's bad. It is so gross, and they smell really bad too.
So
But the
Marcus's
cats are
dad-
usually pretty. The cats are kind of clean here. No, there's not a cat that I've seen that looks like Surrey yet. I've seen like 2 black cats in someone's house before, and that's it. And then most cats here have their tails chopped off because I guess they get in the way sometimes. Like people run them over. I don't know, but they cut off most of the cat's tails, so they just have like these little stubs. It's weird because it's like they have these things called caribou, or they call them carabao, but they're called caribou in English. And it's just a giant cow. It's like a giant bull. So they have these huge horns. I sent some pictures of them before.
Yeah, we got
They have
it.
these huge horns. So they use those to like plow the fields, and they use them for work, and they ride them like to get around. So if they live in like villages, instead of like having a motorcycle, like they won't bring them into town, but like just to go around the fields and stuff, they'll ride on their giant caribou. So they have those, and when those are done like working, then they eat those. And they have a lot of pork. They eat a lot of pig and chicken. It's like pork and chicken are like the 2 big things. Like they barely have any beef here. It's all pork and chicken.
How come
and-
not fish?
Oh yeah, and fish. Depending on where you are. I'm by obviously the beach. I'm by the shore, and so there are like I had fish last night, and like we have fish a lot. But yeah, now at this point, I am comfortable enough with the language that I can ask questions when I need to, and I can communicate with everyone that I want to. And like most people here like to work with you. Like if they see that I'm white and working on the language, they're like, oh, let me teach you. Like, oh, let me help you out. And they also love to try to speak English. If they know a little bit of English, they like to challenge themselves to try to speak English. And so it's nice to meet someone who speaks who's a Longo, but also who speaks a little bit of English, so they can help me a little bit more.
Is
So
that
I
why you like
can get
having
around. I can talk to
everybody there?
whoever I want. I can communicate. So that I'm doing pretty good with the language. Of course, I'm not perfect. Of course, it's hard. I wish we did language study more. We don't do language study all the time, but it's really, there's a scripture in D&C. It's kind of everywhere where it kind of talks about Joseph Smith saying, or God saying to Joseph Smith, if you do the work that's required, then I will loosen your tongue when you need it most. Which is like kind of code for for me, if I do the language study that I need to, and if I do the studies that I need, and not only in the scriptures, because yes, I can have the Spirit with me, but also in the language. Like I can't just read scriptures in English and then expect to teach in Olongo, right? I need to read scriptures to have the Spirit with me, and then I also need to study the language so then that I can have that in my memory. And even though I learned something in Olongo, I learned a bunch of new phrases or new words or whatever, and then literally 5 seconds later, I don't know what the freak I just learned, right? I have the memory of a goldfish. I have no idea what I just read. But it's amazing how I can be in the middle of a lesson, and I want to say something that I usually would not know how, but I remember a phrase that I want to say because I looked up the words, or I learned the phrase or whatever that I wanted to learn 2 weeks beforehand once. I don't remember anything when I look over it once, right? And if it was any other time, I wouldn't be able to say that phrase or that passage. But because it's when I need it most in the middle of a lesson, and I did the work that I needed, then literally my tongue is loose and my mind is open. It's not me learning this language, right? Did you see my grades in school? It is not me learning this language, and it's really cool, to feel God's hand in my work. because it's been hard. But it really is through just the basic things that sorry the basic things that help me the most, right? Through daily scripture study, through prayer, and especially through faith, that that I'm able to do these things that I'm doing. Because, dude, it is not me. It's so cool to be in the middle of a lesson and to be able to just like go off and like start teaching like you're freaking fluent, and to see the investigator's face kind of amazed that you just said a white dude who couldn't speak beforehand say this thing off of his tongue like it was nothing, with a perfect Filipino accent, and not my accent, not my words. And it's also good to teach basically because if I get too caught up in the complications of things, then they're not going to understand. They're not going to understand, and it's not me teaching; it's the Spirit teaching. So, and it's really cool to see that, because there's been a lot of baptisms that we've had that we seriously, like, a lot of the lessons, like, I lead, and the lessons are kind of like not as good when I lead, and we feel like we're just doing like this crappy job teaching this investigator, but they have the strongest testimony, and it's because they keep their commitments, right? They read the Book of Mormon, which is key, but yeah, like literally, it's because they keep their commitments and they have the strongest testimony, and it's not because of us. Like, half the things that they know, we never taught them. But they know all these things because they've been reading and they've been praying for answers, and it is, like, honestly, through the Spirit and obviously the faith of our investigators that, we have so many baptisms.
Hunter, how do you say the name of your city?
Cadiz.
Cadiz?
It's Cadiz. Cadiz.
All right.
All right, are there any essential questions you guys want to ask? I got to get going here pretty soon.
Yes, toilet paper. How do you poop?
Oh, yeah, so I ran out of toilet paper the other day. So I've been doing the whole bucket with the left hand thing. And we're all like, yeah.
No. I thought you could buy toilet paper.
With your hand?
Yeah, you can, but it works pretty well. It's funny because I didn't know I was out of toilet paper until I'm like, oh, I'm out. I need to go upstairs to my look at Shannon, my sister. But yeah, so I didn't realize I was out until I'm like, oh, I'm out, and I went upstairs to my suitcase to get more, and there's no more in my suitcase. Like, well, I'm screwed.
Okay.
And so
you are allowed to buy toilet paper. You are allowed.
Ew. Buy toilet
no, but
paper.
it actually works really well, and the soap that we use is like it smells super good.
That's disgusting.
No.
We're gonna
It's
cut
like-
off your hand when
It's
you get
super
home.
complicated how it works, actually. Like, there's like a way you have to do it. Like,
So who trained you?
Elder Penny had to teach me because Elder Church taught him. So I'm like, how do you do it? And he's like, it's way harder than you think. You can't just like go and think you can do it. Like you can just figure it out. No, you can't figure it out. Like there's like a specific way you can do it where you don't have like poop on your hand and like do it just right. And it works really well. Like, it's surprising how efficient it is. Yeah, I gotta go. Sorry, I'm taking up everyone's time.
All right. Well,
But,
we love you.
Bye, bro.
Love you.
Love
you.
you.
Bye. Love you.
Be a good
Bye,
boy.
Hunter.
Bye, Felicia.
I know you.
Bye.
Tell me more.